It's the Bowen and Brooke Show. Two bees in a pod. Cast. Powered by Bowen's Garage.
Did you know that a single sneeze travels 160 kilometres per hour and shoots 100,000 germs?
Ignition sequence start. 10.
We'll do it live.
9.
We'll do it live.
6.
Oh, there's dust in this studio.
4. 3. 2. 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Fasten your seatbelts. Secure your Red Bulls. Turn up the volume. It's time to lift the roller door on Bowen's Garage. Here's your host, Chris Bowen.
Yes, hello, welcome to the program, the Bowen and Brooke Show. Two bees in a pod. What about that bit of trivia at the start? How relevant is that? That's why we're all wearing masks, to stop, air coming out of our mouths at 160 k's an hour.
It's gross.
It's quite quick, isn't it?
Yeah, it is quick.
Like sneezing is
It's a weird thing,
phenomenon.
isn't it?
You can't keep your eyes open. I've tried.
No, and I don't I'm not as loud sneezer. I just just go.
Oh, you hold.
Yeah, I hold it in.
You're holding it.
Yeah, and people go, "What just happened with you?" And I'm
Yeah,
just mate, it was just a sneeze. Don't panic. I don't want to upset anyone by my noise, so I just hold it in.
Yeah, no, you can let those go. You just got to let them go. All right, into your not into your elbow, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's the,
yeah, that's right. Yep.
The back of your elbow, whatever that bit's called. I don't know.
I don't know what it's called actually, because it's not your armpit.
I think it starts with N. I can't remember.
Oh.
Anyway, look, it's great to be here, Brooke, and welcome along to another podcast. And as usual, we like to receive feedback and listen to our fans, and either feel insecure or have our egos boosted. We had mostly good stuff this week, and I'm going to start off with one here. It's from a person called Impossible Dreams. This is via Apple Podcasts. They say, love the way two bees in a pod is going. Cars, tech, laughs, and a bit of serious stuff. Brooke and Geoff take it up a notch. Wow. That's a great compliment, Brooke.
It's really good, isn't it? Yeah.
Geoff,
I'd like to thank my sister for posting that on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, I know. And I'll send that to Geoff, and he'll replay it on loop on the way into work every day. Actually, no, he's actually been at home for 18 months, so he won't be going anywhere. And there's another one there, Brooke.
There is. This is a bit more serious. Is that the one you want me to read?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Bodog and Brooke just caught episode 17 of Two Bees. And can I just say thank you to you both for your raw and honest segment on mental health. As a fellow black dog and anxiety sufferer in industry rife with it, I'm a big advocate of removing the stigma. Your actions have gone a long way to help that. Keep up the great work, legends. And that's from Angus. Thank you, Angus. Bowen sent that to me and I was so stoked. I was at the gym. And when you sent it, I was really, really, really stoked that someone had taken the time to send that to us.
Yeah, it's good because, we're sort of going towards uncharted territory. Yeah. But given our experiences, we thought, you know what, let's just talk about it. That is the best way of handling things. And we did. And we're going to do it again today. And we also had another one along those lines from Scott, who said, been loving the podcast. It's a real surprise every time you listen, as you don't know what you're going to hear. But as Angus said, the raw and honest mental health chat was a great listen. So he was on our Facebook page as well. So I'm glad that went down well with people, and we'll keep doing it, as I said, week in, week out. This is the Bowen and Brooke Show. Two bees in a pod. Cast. Rightio, let's get into cars. That's our bread and butter here at Bowen's Garage. Brooke, I have an electric car again in the garage. What a surprise, hey? What a surprise. Are you noticing the trend? Are you noticing?
Well, just one electric car in your garage, Bowen?
I've got 3. Actually, I've got the MG ZS electric, which is from MG. That's Australia's cheapest electric car. And I also have the Kia Niro plug-in hybrid this week. Last week, I had their fully electric version. But, I mean, this is showing that all the major players are coming on board. In the driveway, I have the Audi e-tron 50 Quattro Sportback. Now, this is a really sleek-looking SUV. It comes in this brilliant red. I really like the look of it. They call it Catalunya red. It's just sensational. $148,000 100. The one the one I've tested, $151,450 before on roads. It's a lot of money, isn't it, Brooke? What about they hit you up $2,300 for the metallic paint? And if you like some privacy glass, which is basically tinted windows,
I love privacy glass.
$1,050 for tinting, and that doesn't include the front windows. That's only from the what they call the B pillar back.
What sort of paint do you get if you don't get the premium paint?
Just normal paint.
No.
Well,
undercoat. That's what you get.
You just get. It's not even painted. Just do your best. Metallic paint has flecks of basically metal in it, so to give that sparkly kind of effect. It's bullshit, and it should never be an option. But anyway, it is.
No.
Yeah. So this is 100% electric, right? So I'm in a major brand that's been around for decades. It's one of the big 3: Mercedes, BMW, and Audi. They've made an electric car. Couple of things. Its range isn't that good. Its range is not that good at all.
When you say range, you mean what?
How far it will go between charges. So if I hopped in this thing, I would start to get nervous at about 220 kilometres. So that's not very far. So I'm in Pitt Town. If I drove to Bathurst, it'd make it to Bathurst, but only just. They say it has a range of 295, but that depends on how you drive. That is not far enough. You need much more than that. For example, the Kia Niro I had last week, which was fully electric, it did cost $70,000. It was a lot smaller than this car. It could go around 450 Ks.
No way.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are different variants in the e-tron lineup which get more range, but the 50, which I'm talking about here, that's a bit scary, and I guess it's really only a car that you'd use around the city. 230 kilowatts of power, 540 newton meters of torque for people who want to know. It's pretty quick, 0 to 106.8 seconds. But, all these brands. Yeah, you go ahead.
Did you whack it in sport mode?
Oh, yeah, always. And that reduces the range.
I know.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I know.
Was it good?
It was great. It really, I mean, it's really stirred my loins.
So jealous.
Look, it's a good looking car, and I'm sure you can see it on the website right now. 21-inch wheels. That's big. 21-inch. That's about as big.
I have on my car.
That is yours. I would suggest on the Kia Sportage GT line from 2018 that they're probably 18-inch. I think.
Yeah, right.
They might be 19.
So much more room for me to grow.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 21-inch. It doesn't get much bigger than 21-inch. I think I've seen 22 at some point, but that's just overkill. Anyway, you get all the stuff that Audis come with. Just amazing technology, safety, beautiful interior, lots of smart functions. You can hook it up to your phone and do all sorts of different things. You can open it with your phone, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, minimal range, which I found a little bit disappointing. And you know what? This is the first time I've driven an electric car and thought, I'm not sure I like this experience. Because when Tesla came and arrived here in about 2014, 2015, I think it was, that was a novelty. Tesla is an electric car. You expect that. But now I'm getting into these mainstream brands with their electric cars and no engines and no noise. It just didn't feel right. You know what I mean? So
you're saying that set the bar that no one can actually reach.
Yeah, like you're expecting from a performance Audi, some sort of twin turbo V6 with a nice, exhaust note, but this was just a sterile, sedate drive around town in absolute silence. And anyway, that's That's just how it was the first time that I ever felt that way. But we're all going this way. B&W say they're not going to have any petrol engines by the end of the decade. So
This is fine. This is fine for countries that, are really, really small and their range from, A to B is not
true.
a lot. But for us in Australia, it's really, really difficult to get anywhere, unless we live in the middle of town, which, and with COVID, that's not the case, right? So we're always going to have to drive somewhere in Australia and we're going to need cars with a bigger range.
Well, the first thing that people say to me is, what happens if I drive from Sydney to Brisbane? Well, who does that regularly, right? The other thing is, obviously, yes, we need charging infrastructure. Battery and charging infrastructure is just changing every bloody month just about. Soon it's not so much going to be about the range, but how fast you can charge it. The other thing is, the good thing about electricity is that it's everywhere. Everywhere there's a service station. There's
I do have a story on this too.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
So my brother works for this company, big company who do solar, and they've just, as an aside, decided to supply charging points just in their car park of their, it's an industrial space, but they're providing solar powered charging points to vehicles because they see a market for it. And I was like, wow, like it's happening.
Absolutely. And, as I said, there's no reason why in the future petrol houses can't be converted to fast chargers. There's no reason. You don't have to transport electricity like you do with petrol or diesel or gas or whatever. So that's another saving as well. So, I don't think that's the problem. The problem is where the power comes from. So we need to head down the renewables path. And that's where we really are falling behind the rest of the world. And just one more thing before I move on. During the lockdown in Sydney right now, and there's another thing I realised today, like I'm driving into town to swap a car. The sky is just so blue. It's just beautiful. There's less planes, less cars, trucks on the road. So that's going to be great one day when it's electric, as long as we're not burning coal still. So anyway, it's 10, 15, 20 years until it probably sees a complete transition into that, sense of utopia. But we're going to get there, Brooke, and we're going to get there together.
I hope so. I'm kind of excited.
Yeah, I am. I hope we're still around talking about it in 15 years' time. That'd be great.
Yeah, I know. I feel about 89 today. I've got a couple of years left, and then just put me in a nursing home, B-Dog.
Okay, fair enough. This is the Bowen and Brooke Show, 2 Bs in a pod car. Right, from the electric Audi we go into what I'm told is an interesting tale from my good friend here, Brooke.
Well, I never thought. So I'll paint a picture for you. My daughter said, can we go out on Saturday night? And I thought, well, we haven't been out for a week and I like to get out of the house for dinner or whatever. Yep, sure, let's go out for dinner. So I took her and her bestie out for dinner. And I was home at 9 o'clock, which is quite late for me. Yeah. Of course, they were ready to party. They're 15 and they're like, oh, no, we're going to stay up all night and, rah, rah, rah. And I'm like, you just do whatever you want to do, watch whatever you want to watch on YouTube, whatever, TikTok. Yeah. Mummy's just going to take herself to bed. And then I get this text message. So I've got a group of friends. They're a little bit younger than me. And they love me. I feel like I'm their mother duck, and there's 3 girls. Yeah. They've got these great jobs and, rah, rah, rah. And anyway, sitting there on a Saturday night, I'm sitting in bed with my McClymonts T-shirt and I've got a glass of wine and I'm watching YouTube videos on, music or whatever.
Yeah, love it.
And then I get this text message saying there's a cocktail emergency. You have to be here now. This is at 9:30 at night.
Right.
Oh, what? Oh, well.
A cocktail emergency.
Emergency. Well, I better not let that cocktail emergency get out of control.
Someone ring 000.
No, I had to obviously act on that. Gets dressed, goes out. Oh, dear. I'm not, B-Dog, I'm not 21 anymore.
I know that, Brooke.
Like,
I know.
it's-
I know. Look, your stamina is not what it used to
it's
be.
not. Well, no, actually, that's not no. Like, I'll go hard, but gee whiz, my God, I feel it the next day.
Yeah,
And then the
that's
day
the
after
problem,
that,
the
and probably
hangover.
at least another day after that. Oh, goodness me.
Yeah. Oh, the 3-day hangover was terrible. That's why
And
I
I
just
don't do
kept drinking
shots
every day.
anymore. I don't do it. Like, just that's the sensible me. Like, and they're all going, yeah, woo, woo, shots. And I'm like, no, not for me. Thanks. I'm, once bitten,
No.
twice shy.
Well, see,
Oh,
you're wiser, much
I think I
wiser.
am. I like to think I am, right?
I know. You can't. Well, let me just. I'm going to say it right. We had a big night on the drink about 10 years ago. Okay, it was at a location in Alexandria. It was to
Oh, well, of a
celebrate
number of
the end of
locations,
the.
there were that was almost like a pub crawl. It was.
It was spread over much of metropolitan Sydney and terminated in the northwest, and that's about where I. That's
Definitely
what,
terminated there.
So, look, I am well versed on your drinking habits, and I don't drink anymore.
No.
But at the time, I did. But gee whiz, Brooke, to put it mildly, you are fun.
I am fun. Thank
And
you. That's
you
I'll
were a
take that and run
stayer.
with it.
You were a stayer. You were a stayer
I'm not
back
now.
then, but I think
No.
you're
No,
about,
I'm not.
about
Do you
30
know what?
now.
And they praise. A lot of people say, "Wow, you smoke bomb really well." So what I'll do is I'll go, "Yeah, I'm having a great time," and then people will turn around, and then I'm gone. I love doing that.
Yeah, it's so easy to do.
Oh.
You know what? I've been to, I think, 2 car launches this year, right? And sometimes it's okay to go to the dinner at night and, hear from the executives and, all this sort of thing. But other times I don't, it's a waste of time. I don't want to go, right? Twice I've rushed and just gone to sleep in the hotel room, wake up in the morning, and people are going, "Oh, how good was last night, eh? What about this and what?" They don't even know.
Do you know what we should do?
They don't even
Here's
know.
what we should do.
Yeah.
We'll tag team. So you go to that early bit, then you just let me loose, and then I'll just go to the last bit, make an appearance on the dance floor, nod at the features, all that sort of thing. Bang, out of there too.
Yeah, we could do that. We could tag team. That'd be one way of handling it. It'd just be convincing a car company to fly two of us somewhere because I
Oh.
only do
What?
business 1A. And the other thing was,
At
you
this
go.
stage, I'll be flying in the hull with the animals.
Because I'm 41 now, everyone's turning 40. I went to a 40th on the Central Coast and drove up there, and it was at Mingara. Everyone's getting blind, and then I obviously left at about 10 o'clock, largely unannounced, said goodbye to the key people.
Smoke bomb.
Get home. Next morning, I wake up, got messages at 1:30 in the morning from people saying,
Oh.
"Mate, where are you right now? We're over here in the pokies." I'm like, "Mate, I told you specifically I'm leaving."
Yeah. Yep.
Alcohol amnesia is a terrible thing, and it's something I know I can
And
suffer
do you know
from.
what? That's right. And I think that's the thing when you get older. That whole next day thing is actually worse than the experience of going to the party itself. So
Absolutely.
you realize, I'll call it early. I've had a great night. It's been fine up until now, but I'm ready to get home, crawl into bed, put my little slippies on. That's it. I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not. Our alcohol habits early on were so bad, like preloading. Like I used to go to the Gossett RSL when I was 18, and we just have like 20 schooners, walk the 4K, walk 4 kilometres to the Central Coast Leagues Club, somehow get in, and then drink more like Sambuca shots, go to
So,
Club Troppo,
no.
and get kicked out.
Yep. So no, I've never been able to be a big drinker because I'm like, this is going to be terrible, but I'm a spewer. And Mum even will say to me, Mum
see,
will say
I'm
to me,
not.
the spicy meatball says to me these days, "Brooke, you'll take it easy, won't you? Because you know what you like." Like,
Yeah.
I'll go, yep, okay, yep, sure thing.
Better-
I do know what I'm like. Thank you, spicy meatball. Yep, thanks for reminding me.
Better out than in.
I have a weak stomach for that sort of stuff. That's why I can't do shots and anything. So
Yeah.
if anyone says that, oh, gee.
Oh, well, did you save the day? I mean, what was the?
Well,
what
if you
happened
mean
in the
by
end?
saving the day, did I have a Moscow Mule and some sort of salted caramel tequila shot? Yes, I
Yeah.
did.
And how did you go with
Did I
that?
feel it the next day, like by having those two like minimal drinks? Yes,
Yeah.
maybe I did. Sure, whatever.
Okay, all right. Well, good luck to you.
Ugh.
I just can't do it.
No, B-Dog, I can't do it either. We're just old now, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Just stop it, Brooke. Stop drinking. It'll.
You're older than me, though.
Yeah, just. Okay. This
So
is the
old.
Bowen.
Don't know. So much older.
This is a couple of years older. Oh, can you believe we were so young once? Geez, the other days.
Oh, such good times.
This is the Bowen and Brooke show, 2 Bs in a podcast.
Ras imbras ma' Geoff Quattromani, Malti-Australian minn Sydney.
Tech expert Geoff Quattromani.
Geoff Quattromani, thank you very much from Sydney.
Geoff Quattromani is here.
And now it's time to talk technology with Geoff Quattromani.
Geoff Quattromani.
Hello everybody, thanks for tuning in.
What the heck? Let's talk tech.
Oh, I love that music because every week when I hear it in my ears, it means that the great Bigfoot, Geoff Quattromani, our tech expert, is on the line. Hello, Geoff.
Hello, mate. Thank you for having me again.
Hello.
Hello, Brooke.
This is an interesting move from Amazon, and no doubt you've covered it in your podcast, Technology Uncorked, as well. But they've come up with this unique policy when it comes to returns. Just explain to me how that works.
I don't know what they were doing with them in the past, if they were just shipping them back to people. But effectively, what you can now do with Amazon is buy returned goods, which means you're buying something at a discounted price. But the best bit is it's potentially either unopened or maybe it's got the plastic on the outside. But what you won't find is that they're used. So you're not going to buy something that's actually been put in somebody's ears, like a pair of headphones or something like that. It's just products that have been returned, but now they're selling them usually what I'm seeing around 20 to 30% off.
Right. So, I mean, using Apple as an example, they offer refurbished products that you can get at a cheaper rate, but this is not that at all.
It's not. So one of the things here to be clear on is that this isn't something that's been returned as a faulty product and had to be fixed or anything like that. This is simply that you've made a mistake in the purchase, or it was an unwanted gift, whatever the case may be of you normally returning something. That's what's being unsold. They're not going to put into warehouse, things that actually are broken or have a warranty issue or something like that. Look, let's be honest, Amazon don't really make their own products except for their speakers. So this is just anything. And I'm seeing Samsung watches, tablets, those kinds of products, which are now being sold for a savings. So the reason I'm talking about it, though, is that if you're someone out there who's wanted that pair of Sony headphones or that TV but couldn't afford it, check warehouse, because you might actually find that you're going to find a returned pair which hasn't been used, but it's now sitting into a budget that you can afford. That's the real value here.
And are they the sorts of products that are on offer? Headphones, TVs, phones?
Look, it's definitely an example of what's available. But if you're, outside of technology, outside of gadgets where I sit, if you're interested in a new coffee machine, basically anything that Amazon does sell, except food items, you will find in the warehouse section. So I've even noticed like PlayStation games and things like that. So you can imagine after Christmas how much stuff would get returned back to Amazon. They're just putting it in there to try and sell it at a discounted rate.
Geoff, there was a bit of a stigma when Amazon first arrived on the scene here. Do you think Australians have taken to it now?
Oh, mate, absolutely. If you look at my household, it's a big yes. I will literally walk into my room and ask Alexa to buy me something, and it gets delivered the next day. I've ordered peanut butter because I'm literally finishing the last bit, and I just get my smart speaker to order me a new tub. That's just me, but I'm noticing a lot of people doing it. I've also seen how they've now launched their own version. Instead of having couriers, anyone can be an Amazon delivery driver. I had a guy pull up to my house in one of those, hire cars where the number plate is a HC, pulling up to deliver Amazon products, because that's what he now does because Uber's dropped off. So I think Amazon's going gangbusters in Australia, and I think they're doing well. They deserve it.
Good on them. Now, look, moving along, it's a product from TCL, and we're talking about a smartwatch for children. Now, straight away when I hear that headline, I think, oh, come on, it's a bit early to get the kids involved in this sort of thing, but there's a bit more to it.
Yeah, there is. And this isn't the first time TCL's done something like this. This is their second children's smartwatch. And the benefit here is that, you've got a 9-year-old or something like that who's now going to school. They may not be asking for a phone, but you're thinking about ways of how you're going to contact them if maybe you're running late to pick them up or they've had a problem, they need your help. So instead of giving them a phone, you can actually give them the smartwatch that you put a SIM card inside of. So they've got their own phone number. The watch is then programmed by the parents who have an app on their phone, and they can essentially say, here are the 3 contacts that are going to exist on that watch. And those 3 contacts are also the only ones that can call that watch as well, meaning that child can now click to call mum, dad, grandpa, whatever it is, but they can also only receive calls and texts from them as well. So that's one benefit. Secondly, obviously, kids want to count their steps, whatever. You can do that on that watch too. But the one other thing I love about this is geofencing, which means if you draw a square on a map around that school and your kid's wearing that watch, if they were to leave that school, I mean, look, when I was younger, that was a thing you'd do to go get some scallops or fish at lunchtime. If you were to do that, mum and dad gets a little announcement on their phone that says, Geoff's left school at midday. What's the deal there? And you may actually get a phone call. So, huge advantages with this smartwatch.
It's funny you say that because about 8 or 9, when I was working in the city, and I wouldn't get home until about 6:30, so there was a babysitter that we got for my daughter around that age actually, but we also, that was the age we bought her a phone. Yep. So this makes a lot of sense. Can they watch, are there apps that they can download on that as well, or no?
Very basic.
Yeah.
I mean, in the first version that I played with, I think they had some sort of version of Sudoku or something on there. Nothing that's going to, be very exciting, and certainly not something that's going to be very distracting when they're in school either, which is probably a benefit.
Yeah,
so I think it's more of a device just to be in contact and receive contact from parents. Definitely not going to be that kind of, entertainment device that they would use at home.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, later this year, I think it's arriving. They're saying $235. Looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Henry will love that. Now, I really wanted to touch on this last story here about this fantastic Navman for motorcyclists. And it's been tested out here on a Ducati. Please tell me it wasn't you.
No, mate, it wasn't mine, but a friend of mine has a Ducati. I don't ride. So when I got the opportunity to review this dash cam for motorbikes, I had to find someone who's got one. For me, this is crazy because we have dash cams for cars like it's nobody's business, that you can get one from $50 all the way up to $600. Tesla has one built into the car, for example. But why wouldn't it make more sense for motorbikes to have them when they are probably most at risk on the road? So when I first heard about this, I went, I've got to try one. Camera on the front, camera on the back. It's integrated into the bike. This isn't something that you strap onto your helmet. It's a very, very small camera that you can, put near the front headlight, wherever you like. And we actually put it on the back rear number plate, which was a bad idea, but it still worked okay. And it's a dash cam that starts recording as soon as you start the bike, full high definition, and it's accessible on your smartphone. So you don't actually need to even take the card out of the dash cam. It's all just sends back to your phone, and you can do what you want with it in case you ever need to. But it just makes sense to me.
Is this the first of its kind in Australia?
Look, I feel like it is. And listeners, correct me if I'm wrong if you've seen one like this already. I think one of the things we are seeing a lot of is people putting GoPros onto their helmets and things like that. I discovered that in New South Wales, it's actually illegal for you to do that. And there's a couple of reasons to it. It actually usually comes down to safety, in that if you were to have an accident and you've got an object on your helmet, if you actually collide with the ground, that could be a huge problem because it's an object that's going to put pressure on the helmet when it collides. So a number of reasons not to use a GoPro. I will say very clearly that the GoPro provides better footage, as in the quality of content that you'll produce on the GoPro is better than I saw on these dash cams. But for something that's already mounted to the bike, captures front and rear, and still does GPS for location tracking as well as speed tracking, this could just make a lot of sense to anyone who's riding on the road a lot.
You know what I'm very conscious of these days, irrespective of what sort of dash cam it is the fact that so many people have them, and it actually modifies your own driving behavior. I feel like, if I'm to overtake someone and maybe they didn't like the way I was driving, they'll post it on YouTube. I'm just acutely aware of that sort of thing these days, which is good, of course, But yeah, this is great. I mean, motorcyclists are far more at risk than the rest of us. If I drove one, I'd be dead. There's no doubt about it. So $600. It's called the MyView M760D, and of course, Navman, one of the leading brands in that market.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it's a nice product. It's the first I've seen for bikes. I would love to compare it with other brands if they do decide to make this move as well. But, it's peace of mind. It's that your word against somebody else's situation. And, if you're a rider, makes sense, especially if you're a rider who's also a courier or a Deliveroo driver or something like that. Get one. Makes sense. Exactly.
All right, Bigfoot. Well, it's been fantastic again this week. Thanks for appearing on the program. We'll just don't start invoicing me yet. We'll get there eventually, hopefully.
Mate, always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
No worries, Geoff.
Thanks, Geoff.
You're listening to Two Bees in a Podcast. It'd be really great if you could rate, review, subscribe, and leave us a comment.
I want to talk to you, Brooke, about the Hyundai Santa Fe SUV.
Okay. I love an SUV, so go for it.
Which is fantastic. Now, you have the Kia Sportage. The Santa Fe's another size.
That's a big
up.
one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big one. It's got 7 seats, big 7-seater. There's also an even bigger Hyundai called the Palisade. Wow, that's an epic. It's more of an American-style car, that one. I had the Hyundai Santa Fe Highlander for 2 weeks. It's the top of the range. I had the all-wheel drive model with a 2.2-litre 4-cylinder turbo diesel. Great car. Really, really is. It's so luxurious. You sit inside and you go, you know what? I've made it in life. This is great. It's got everything you need. 8-speed dual clutch transmission, which means it shifts gears really, really quick. It's expensive, $65,200 before on roads. But, you know, big families love these cars because of their space. Now, with the 7-seat functionality, you know, ultimately, if you have all 7 seats up, you don't have a whole lot of space in the back. But I don't think that's why people buy cars this big. Because, you know, if you have the third row down, then you do have a huge amount of cargo space, enough to go to IKEA and all that sort of thing, and the like. So 7 seats, I think, is more for, you know, you might drive some kids down to the local soccer match or rugby league or whatever, you know what I mean? It's just when you need them, and there's not much room back there anyway. Great car. It's got all the safety systems you need.
It's got the power to support the size.
Yes, it does. It's got, because of the diesel, it's got a good amount of torque, which means that the power comes on pretty quick and quite strong. It's, as I said, got great technology. There's this feature, and I really, really think it's one of the better ones I've seen. Every car has a blind spot. You on your Sportage have probably got that blind spot little light that flickers in the mirror. So the Hyundai Santa Fe takes that to a different level, where if you turn the right-hand blinker on, right in the middle of the screen in front of you, the instrument cluster will be a camera that pops up, so you can see in your blind spot instead of, you know, you don't have to look in the side mirror. Yeah, so left and right, it brings up a camera either side of the car, and you can see what it's great, particularly if there's a motorcyclist.
Oh, that's great.
So that is really good. The instrument cluster is just so good. It's all digital. You can change it depending on what drive mode you're in. Of course, we go straight to sport mode every day of the week. It's got a huge touch screen, 12.3-inch digital, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It's all there. I love cars that have two-toned interior. Some cars are just all black.
Yeah, I do too, actually.
The one I have had sort of like tan leather dash and seats. They're heated and cooled. We love that.
Did they have screens in the back?
No screens in the back. See, you know what? You rarely see screens, because there was a period in time where you still can get TV.
Yeah, like built-in stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, TV coverage in a car is pretty haphazard. Like I drove a Rolls Royce that had it, and you need to be pretty close to the major transmission towers to pick up TV in a car. So they're more.
But also, what child next to B child, whatever, at any time, do they want to watch the same thing? They don't.
They don't, exactly. That's funny. You know what? The first experience I ever had of a TV in a car was when Sally from Home and Away was leaving. Yeah, Kate Ritchie was like, it was her last episode, and I remember I was at Broadway, and Home and Away was on at 7 or something, and I wanted to watch the end of it, so I sat in this Audi. That you could bring the TV up on the front screen, but only when you park.
Sorry, hang on. We just need to go back a little bit. So what you're saying is you were Sally from Home and Away obsessed, and you had to see that last episode is what you were saying.
No. I never really watched Home and Away, but I just thought it was such a momentous...
all I'm hearing is excuses. Yep.
No, it's just like one of those things, like in Australian history, you just had to watch to be there. You just wanted to be part of it. Yep. So I was watching it in this Audi Q7 in the Broadway shopping centre. That's the first experience I ever had. And another thing, piece of technology I saw once in a Range Rover in terms of the TV screen in the middle is that I don't even know how this works, right? You can have something playing on the center screen while you're driving, but the driver can't see it. However, the passenger to your left can see it, because the screen just has this amazing technology that only reflects the vision that way. So, that's just crazy shit. And I haven't seen it since, and I don't think it exists anymore. But yeah, TV is irrelevant now. You don't get that in cars. It's more for streaming things that you might want to via a HDMI cable. I mean, you can put a PlayStation back there if you're really desperate. But but anyway, good safe car. It's got a 5-star ANCAP safety rating because it's got airbags left, right, and centre. Long warranty, 5 years, unlimited Ks. Good family car, stiff competition. It's up against the Kia Sorento, which it's based on, and that was one of the drive car of the years actually this year. So it's
it?
Yeah. I'd actually rather the Santa Fe personally. I just think it's a little bit more refined, but great fuel economy as well, considering it is a big, heavy,
diesel,
2-ton. Yeah, well, the diesel always gives you great efficiency.
Yeah,
and I averaged just over 8 litres per 100, but the official figure 6.1, which that's very low. That's like probably about 900 Ks. Yeah, 67 litre tank, and you do get a full size spare. So yeah.
Oh, we love a full size spare.
Oh yeah, as long as it's not around your waist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
what happened when you put it in sport mode?
Not much.
Wow.
I mean,
I hate being disappointed by sport mode.
Yeah, I know. It let me down. Sport mode, in terms of a diesel, is largely irrelevant. It's got paddle shifters, right, on the steering wheel.
That's what I have.
Yeah, you've got them.
I don't know how to use them, but they're there.
It's more useful basically if you're towing and you want to go downhill and hold some gears, or maybe you want to go up a hill and hold a gear. But it's there. Oh, by the way, it's also. Do you have a head-up display in your? You wouldn't have that in the Sportage.
Mate, what is a head-up display?
Okay, head-up display. So when you look straight ahead on the windscreen, there's like a head-up. So it's like you're in a fighter jet, and you can see the speed projected on.
No.
Yes.
And I've been in a car that is. I've been in a Hyundai.
Everyday Hyundai.
Everyday Hyundai. I've been in a Hyundai Santa Fe that's not. Like it's a recent model, but it's not like this year recent. And I loved that head-up display. The speed, loved it. So good.
Yeah. But if you don't have it, like if you jump into a car,
that in my next car.
Yeah. If you go from one that has it to one that doesn't, you really get the shits.
Do they all have them now?
Oh, they're not necessarily, but no, we're slowly heading down that path. Yeah, a lot more.
I know Mazdas do the the 6.5, 6.7. I know they do.
Yeah, for sure. I remember when I first saw it, I was like, "This is amazing." It's been around for years.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Incidentally, we mentioned the cooled seats. The rear seats, actually, the ones on the left and the right, can be heated. So the second row seats can be heated.
Of the Santa Fe?
On the Santa Fe.
Yeah, right.
And you can tinker around with ambient lighting in terms of the colour at night in the cabin. And you got a big panoramic sunroof, which is always a good thing because,
I think I have that now. I don't know.
You either have a sun. Well, I mean, there's always two different types. There's your normal sunroof, and obviously panoramic's huge. It covers the whole length of the roof. Just
no,
and comes with like
don't know. I'm gonna have to find this out tomorrow. Do you know what?
Yeah, just like get in your car and look at the roof, and you'll probably find out quite quickly.
Mate, I don't know. I'm just going to video it and send it to you and say, is this a panoramic roof?
Please do that for me. Please do that. All right.
Hey, just one quick last question.
I'll keep going. It's good.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, did you cry when Sal left Home and Away? You did too. You did.
Well, she was at that. The thing about Sally was that.
No, you did. No. Don't. Please, you don't need to explain. I understand you're emotional. It's fine.
No, but when you're in love with someone at that age who was actually once a child star, well, that feels a bit wrong. So
I was in love with Actually, I've been in love with a few child stars. Yep.
Yeah, so that was all a bit odd. But anyway, at least she kicked on. She's done very well for herself.
She has done very well. She doesn't listen to us.
No, doubt it. We'll send it to her. All right.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we're sending it everywhere. That was the Hyundai Santa Fe Highlander all-wheel drive with the diesel, and the full review will be at bowensgarage.com.au. But in the meantime, this is the Bowen and Brooke show, which is two Bs in a podcast.
G'day.
The winner is
It's the great Aussie shout-out.
Well, thank you, Juan Antonio Samaranch, one of the greats. He's sadly passed away a number of years ago. He was the head of the International Olympic Committee. What a great man he was. It is time to celebrate one of the great Australians out there, and we try to select one or two each week. Brooke, who is your
I've got a
candidate?
couple. Like they're in a duo. I don't actually know the other one's name. Anyway, so you know how I live in the complex and you're not allowed to park on the grass because there's sprinklers.
Compound.
Yeah, the compound. Anyway, so there's a big place opposite mine and quite often they will Airbnb it out to holiday makers, or in this case, it was a group of engineers doing something. I don't know if it was on the road or something. They were from out of town. Anyway, there's a big group of them, and I say a big group, I mean probably 6, which is quite a lot where I live because the compound has only very, very narrow streets, and you park in your driveway. You're not allowed to park your boat or anything, pretty much. On the grass or anywhere.
These pricks.
Anyway, so I've gone out of an afternoon to go to the gym before, picking up the small humans and then going home for the night. And I saw these guys and there's a couple of cars. The night before there was a few cars parked on the side of the road and one of them was parked. There's like a median type triangular thing that, median. It's the best thing I can describe it as. And one of them had a big engineering type ute parked on there. Anyway, I thought I'll be nice and that's right. I'll pull over and I got out of my car and I'm in my gym gear and I said, look, hi. I noticed that there's a few cars. Look, I'm going to be home in, no later than 5. I've got a space in my driveway. If you want to park one of your cars there, it saves you getting into trouble. They're a little bit sensitive here about parking on the grass. And the guy was like, oh, you going to the gym? And I'm like, yeah, just going to the gym. And anyway, I was kind of like, oh, well, I'll just be back. Oh, yeah, okay, well, that's actually really nice of you. Thanks. And I went, yeah, okay, no worries. And he said, oh, well, I'll just come and ask before I do it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, whatever. Like, seriously, Bowen, I get home at 5. If I'm home at 5, I barely leave my house. That's it, bang. Like I'm, PJs, slippers, dinner, bang, that's it.
Sure, bang. That's it.
Lockdown, totally, because, there's the kids and whatever. Anyway, go to the gym, pick up the small humans, and then I'm inside making dinner, and then the dogs start going off, and there's someone at my door. Anyway, this young guy was there, and he said, oh, hi. And I said, oh, hello, how you going? And he said, oh, good, thank you. Oh, look, I said, oh, just park your car in the driveway. Is that what you mean? And he said, oh, yeah, is that okay? And I was like, yeah, totally, it's fine,
Just get in there. Yeah.
Well, it's not, no, let me, I don't often let cars park in my driveway. It's not like I'm, it's open for business of, rent my driveway, here we go.
You don't have a red light. out the front.
No red light out the front. Anyway, he says, oh, well, just to thank you for, your kindness, we bought you this. And then he hands me this nice bottle of wine. And I went, isn't that lovely?
Alcohol again. Yep. It's just a common theme.
The way to my heart, doesn't it?
He's just looked at you and goes, yep, she loves a drink. Yeah. That one there's a go up. She's a goer. She's crazy.
Anyway, I accepted the bottle of wine and then they parked in my drive. I thought, wasn't that a nice thing to do? And I said to him, don't get me wrong, I don't offer my driveway up to just anybody. I see you, you're obviously doing good things for the community out there and about, doing some sort of engineering business. I don't know. Anyway,
so what do you have for breakfast? What do you have for breakfast? Well, look, I'm just putting it out there. Brooke is on the market. I am. Brooke is on the market. All right. There's a few things to negotiate. Well, sorry, spicy meatball, but it's true, and I'm going to find happiness for Brooke in life. She may be happy now, but she could be more happy.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm just trying to help. I'm just saying.
Mate, don't need you to help me.
Brooke doesn't. Well, she needs guidance, and she needs a strong male with a firm hand
I do not need
to
guidance.
control.
I am a strong, independent woman.
someone who won't park on sprinklers and parks in a driveway and just looks after her, you know. So, whoever that person, age group from 20 to 50, I reckon.
That's right. He's all right.
Yeah. Anyway, has money, will travel. Anyway.
I didn't even ask for that much. A pulse? Have they got a pulse?
She's good for a laugh. 6 bottle of wine. And loves Hungry Jacks too. Look, these are in jokes, people, but they're funny jokes to us. So anyway.
I digress. Bowen, who is your great Aussie shout out this week?
Well, last week we were talking about my courier and his little arrangement.
You didn't know his name. I was very disappointed.
He drops off expensive gifts instead of taking them to the local post office. Anyway, he came during the week and the delivery was shit, I forgot. Oh no, it was something from Catch, bulk washing
energy
liquid.
drinks.
No. Bulk laundry detergent. Like there's some deal on. Anyway, so he delivers it, right? And so I'm like, hey, how you going, mate? And he's like just sort of like nodding at me because he's quick. Like he does a drop and run because couriers are on the move. They just need to get out of there. So I'm like, hey, thanks, mate. He goes, mate, I don't know your name. What's your name? And he's just like laughing at me. He's going, ha, ha. I said, no, mate, what's your name? What's your name?
Yep.
And then he just completely brushed me. And I'm thinking, what the Anyway, so then I realised he had one of those earpieces in and he was talking to someone on the Bluetooth. Like, I don't know who used it. So he couldn't, I don't know if he comprehended what I was saying, but he just laughed at me. I asked for his name.
Maybe he actually did comprehend and knew exactly what you were like and was just laughing at you.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. But I'm going to have to get him again. So I still don't know his name. Just laughed in my face. I got him through the fly screen and then I walked outside to pursue him. And, yeah, he walked away, laughed at me.
And then suddenly he's called the cops on you for harassment.
Probably on video, actually. I should get the security camera footage. It'd be a classic.
So have you ordered – when's your next delivery from him?
Oh, I don't know. It could be any time. Yeah, this place is just a treasure trove.
I really want to. Now you've upped the ante because I really want to know his name.
I'm going to give him a name. You know,
you're going to have to tackle him and say, "Mate, what is your name?"
Exactly. So
that's the only answer.
That's the only answer. You know, it's the only. You know how some ethnic groups sort of give themselves Anglo names, which I think is unnecessary, but there are a lot of names.
No, a lot of people do it.
Yeah, like our service station bloke's Indian is a legend. Like he sounds,
Chaz.
Yeah, Chaz.
We've talked about Chaz.
Good memory for an alcoholic.
Yeah. Can you not? My mother is going to be so cranky.
Oh no, sorry, a spicy meatball. She's not an
Thank
alcoholic.
you.
She's just really fun on the drink. Anyway, so it'll be something like Jack.
Yeah. No, usually it's like what is it? Oh, actually, it's easier for the girl. Oh no, actually. Pete?
Dave?
Do you reckon it's Peter? Dave?
Yeah.
Jono? It's got to be something with an O because usually like I've named my brother-in-law Shane. His name's Shane, but I actually just added an O in the end because he's a bit of a tradie. So I've gone Shane-O.
Yeah, it'd be something like that.
You know, like that's the Aussie thing to do.
It is, absolutely. Anyway, I'll try and make sure his Bluetooth piece isn't in his ear next time. I'll wrestle him to the ground.
Just take it out, rip it out and say, mate.
Well, that's assault.
I'm being polite. What is your name? Is he single?
You're a dribbler. Anyway, so they were our shout-outs for the week. The bloke who parks in Brooke's driveway. And
not often. Let's not make a point of people parking in my – it's not often people park in my driveway, even outside of the, the actual physical parking and the other parking in my driveway. It's not like it happens all the time. Let me just say that. Mum, are you listening? It's not like it happens all the time.
Well, it happens all the time. My courier man, who hasn't got a name, but he only parks there for a couple of minutes. He won't get Brooke if you like that. Now, this is the Bowen and Brooke show. 2 Bs in a pod.
We interrupt this program.
Are we on air?
On the Bowen and Brooke show.
No matter what my brain does, you'll just fix it up.
It's time to go outside the broadcast.
No, you think I'm going to edit?
This is Off Air.
Yeah, so we all started this last week, and we'll just, pull it back a notch or two from the laughs and all the silliness that we get up to, and check in on how we are and how you are. We got a great reception, as you heard at the start of the show, from what we did last week, and we just think it's important to continue to talk about mental health because a lot of people are suffering out there, particularly during times of lockdown.
I agree. I went to the gym today and I got so frustrated because I had to wear a mask, which is terrible because it's it's saving everyone from everything. And then I realized, Brooke, don't be silly because this is the least painful thing you could go through of all this process. And you were saying, why don't we talk about feeling like you're climbing the walls, being in lockdown? And I went, yes.
Because you are in lockdown, and our Victorian counterparts have just been doing this for months and almost a year, really. They've only just freed up restrictions. Because you've got more time on your hands, you're spending more time on the net and probably looking at things like Instagram and Facebook and imagining other people's lives and comparing them to your lives, which is, Instagram, we all know, is not a reflection or a true reflection on someone's life. And I must say, you said something to me last week about you feel the pressure as a mum, to be perfect and ideal, and you said that. I just think that's such an important thing to say, and I think personally you should just try and avoid that if possible. It's a trap, I know, and it's hard.
Well, it's easier for me to do up here. So in where I am, northern New South Wales, we only have to wear masks. We're not in lockdown.
Yeah.
So and like at least 99% of the time I get out of the car and get to the front of the shop and everyone looks at me and I went, oh, that's right, my mask. Got to go back to the car and grab my mask. I have it a hell of a lot easier than you have it. Like the whole lockdown thing would just be very difficult for me because you sit there and then you obviously you work or you're online and it's just this hothouse that builds up and then your frustration builds up and then your that whole way that you look at yourself completely changes because you've got so much time on your hands you're a caged animal, right?
It is amazing what your thoughts can do when you are by yourself. You're right, because you're not really bouncing off people. You can have as many Zoom meetings as you like, but human-to-human contact is very important. Look, I mean, me personally, I don't to be honest, I don't have much of a problem with it. I'm quite happy to live where I live and stay at home. And I mean, I travel to the city 3 or 4 times a week to swap cars and what have you. But I enjoy the peace and quiet in general. I've always been like that, so I don't need to be, buzzing around like a social butterfly. My wife Gillian's completely different from me. She's a serious talker. You think I am just doing this sort of thing, but I'm not really. I mean, I'm happy to just do smoke bombs.
And you do your own thing.
Yeah, exactly. So, but because a lot of the car companies that I deal with are based in Victoria, I do often talk to younger women who are arranging, press cars and loans and things like that, and you can just hear it in their voices. I mean, and sometimes I'll say something like, there were times when they were in bubbles and they couldn't see their parents because of outside a 5-kilometre radius, and it's just, I don't know what to say about where we are all headed, but if you just sit there and read about COVID all day, it's just quite depressing.
It'll do your head in.
I know. Look,
and I think in the normal times, I have to make, because I am who I am, I will certainly for so long do my own thing and there'll be just the kids and I'll be blinkers on. And then before too long, I get this sense where I feel a little bit down and I think, oh, Brooke, and it's like this light bulb goes off where I go, oh, that's right, you have to socialize, you have to be out with other people, you know, just to, and I feel, and it's a loneliness, sure, but I have to really make that effort because sure as shit I would just be so much happier. Well, you think you would be crawling into bed with your little slippers on and turning Netflix on at 7:30 at night, and it's not really conducive to getting out and enjoying other people's company and getting perspective, which is what you don't get in lockdown, right?
That is so true. It really is. I found that turning 42, you sort of, I look at the next decade and think, oh wow, this is the decade that's really going to define the rest of your life.
Really?
Well, don't you think?
Yeah.
Anything you do over this period really is going to set you up for the rest of your life.
Well,
I
it's
think.
funny because I've spoken to a friend of mine who I used to work with, and he was sounded a little bit down and said it said this to me sort of this time last year, maybe, I think, and I was a little bit down after I spoke to him because he said, "Oh no, he said this. He said I feel like I've sort of hit my peak, years ago. I feel like there's nothing left to be excited about." And I
Yeah.
thought, oh, that's so bad, like, even though, I mean, career rides, certainly for the last 6 months, maybe 12 months, I certainly haven't felt stable, I guess. But you and I think we're in a better position than we were 10, 15 years ago. Like, I mean, we've got our kids. I certainly get a lot of enjoyment and genuine enjoyment now from my children than I used to get. And I take my time a little bit more. And I feel sorry for people that don't think that there's any joy left in life, because I think as I've got older, I find joy out of more simple things.
Yes, that is so, so true. And just what you said about children is interesting because, we only have one Henry. And like, I've got to be honest, that was tough. The
Yeah.
first, the first 6 months or so was very, very tough. Like I didn't handle it too well at all.
Yeah,
But
it's hard.
now, I mean, once they can talk a little bit and communicate,
Yeah.
it's just the center of your world.
Yeah.
And you talk about joy in life. You are right. You do. During the course of the day, you need to check yourself. You need to you need to say, well, hang on. Thoughts aren't always reality.
No.
And you just pause for 1 second and think about what you do have. So
Yeah.
I've got
And
a wife and I've got a son and I've got a
Yes.
house. I mean, there
Yeah.
are worse things happening to other people.
Yeah. And I often really basic things like my sister is not able to have children, so she has a dog, and the dog, my two dogs, my daughter has not been well at all this year, so the two dogs have provided her and me, because my kids aren't home all the time,
Yeah.
with just this weird joy that I never thought I'd get from two random sort of really special dogs. But also I've started to do things, and I find that they're now more valued because I see the joy that they bring to her. Basic stupid joy, like of, just, running around like idiots. But also I find that when you're in those where you feel a little bit down, and I gravitate to doing little things that I know might make me feel better. Like I'm not a gardener by any means, but I've got this plant that I've kept alive for quite a while now, and I'm so bloody proud of it. And I know my mum's proud of it, so I'll go, oh shit, it needs water.
Yeah.
And I've become a little bit like weird about like having nice grass, because I know I have to keep up with the 80-year-olds in my complex. I've become a little bit funny about my garden. Like I've quite got into it. So you find these things, isn't it funny as you get older, where you go, oh, that brings me joy that I never ever thought I'd find it in those places.
Yeah, totally.
Especially children, because I was never maternal. And I mean, you were, when I knew you, there's probably a point where you didn't ever think you'd find the joy that you did now out of your son.
No way. Right? Yeah. It's funny, when I first met you were bringing Maddie into the studio.
Yeah,
she must have been.
little then.
She would have been,
she was
I don't know,
about no,
8?
she's probably
younger.
6 maybe. Yeah, 6 or 7. Yeah, now she's 15 and a half.
That was a
Yeah.
long time ago. Look, I still have an acute news sense and need to know what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I need it. I did for a period of time, turned off a lot of notifications from all the different media publications, because it's just, you get bombarded all day with shit. And I found that helped a bit.
Yeah.
Someone Gillian had come home who does work in the news, and she'd say, "Oh, what about that?" And I say, "What happened? What are you talking about?" Whereas normally I would have been on top of it. I just don't need that stress,
There's that whole saying about, being blissfully unaware, right?
Absolutely. Blissfully unaware. As long as you're not too unaware. You don't want to live in Nimbin. We still need to pay the bills and function. But, it's a balance, I guess. And everyone's off balance at the moment because the world is off balance. It's completely off kilter. And
But that's the thing. That's the thing. Everyone is off kilter.
Yeah.
So don't think you're off kilter. Everyone is off kilter.
Exactly. Now, if I can give you one tip that I don't follow, but maybe I should, and I've watched a video on YouTube about it, is making your bed in the morning. It's the first thing you should do. There's an army general. It's on YouTube. Just Google it, and he literally gives this whole speech about making a bed. It goes on and on, but in the end, it makes sense because if you achieve that, that's a goal, and that's the first goal of the day. So I don't do that.
You little bugger. I do.
Maybe I'll try tomorrow.
I do.
Yeah, do you? Yeah.
I do every morning. Mum's always taught me to make my bed.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's good.
If I don't, oh man, I feel like sluggish, and I feel if I walk back in and go,
I know what you mean.
I haven't accomplished much. And if I make my bed, I'm like, okay, that's the start. At least I've done that. And do you know what? At the end of the day, I come back and at least my bed's made, my room's clean. Well, if that's the least that happened, then I'm all right with that.
Totally. All right. Well, I can tell you, as you get older, you certainly, if you probably will notice, well, I have, that a few friends start to drop away, but they weren't the ones that were really important to you.
No.
The ones that are, like I've gravitated back to a certain circle of friends on where I grew up on the Central Coast in New South Wales, because they back me to the hilt, irrespective of anything that's ever happened. The sort of people that would hide a gun if I shot someone, which I wouldn't do, of course. There's been a couple of, but I won't go down that path. But yeah, look, just, I don't know. Everyone's different, but that's how I am. And I think in some ways we're both pretty similar.
Yeah, and you find you cling to these things, as random as they are, that make you feel a little bit grounded, right?
Exactly.
And a little bit who you really are.
That's exactly right. Well, that was off air for this week. We're happy to receive your feedback that we got during the week again, if you find all that sort of thing helpful. And we'll continue doing it week in, week out, because, hey, mental health, it's just, it dominates everyone's day and life. This is the Bowen and Brooke Show, 2 Bs in a pod. Cast. Brooke, there's so many cars I need to cover over the next few days because the garage is stacked. I've got the MGZS electric vehicle, which is in the driveway. We'll do a review on that. It's Australia's cheapest electric car. I've got the electric Audi I mentioned as well. I'm also doing the Kia Niro, which is a plug-in hybrid. I've got the good old Toyota Camry here as well. It's a hybrid, another electrified vehicle. But next week, Brooke, as we head into late July, couple of Mercedes-Benz coming our way.
Woo!
So I look forward to the 3-pointed star arriving in my driveway. It's a shame you live so far away because I might actually give you a drive of one, but you don't.
Well, I have some space in my driveway.
Yeah, well, there's someone who can park there apparently, so that's good.
No, not anymore.
So stay tuned for more cars and infotainment. Oh, fuck. So stay tuned for more information, entertainment, car talk, tech talk with Geoff, and everything else in between. Brooke, it's been good talking to you this week.
And you, B-Dog.
I hope you look after yourself for the remainder of the week.
Thank you.
I'm Chris Bowen. That was the Bowen and Brooke Show. 2 Bs in a pod. Cast. Normal programming will resume right after this. Until next week, good luck and goodbye.